Thank you. I was hoping to hear all four, but I'm going to hold you to that later. The other two, that was really, it was enlightening, yeah.
Well, if you like the first two.
Yes, no, it was very enlightening. So, first of all, Assalamu alaikum. How's everyone? It's a bit long. I'd like to thank those of fellow panelists who spoke a little less so that we can take more time. Thank you for inviting us. I've known Jain folks growing up. I grew up in West Africa, even though my roots are also in South Asia. So that's just by way of background. In terms of faith, I think when we say religion, and I think Rabbi Hugh or someone alluded to this, where we're talking about religion being beliefs and ritual and tradition. One way I've heard it discussed in the US particularly is there is your faith, which is your beliefs, and then there's religion, which is rituals and traditions and culture. One definition I've heard someone say is culture is how you practice religion, how you do all of that, right? So there is that, and every large faith, from what I know about, especially faiths that have been around for a while, are going to reach all sorts of human beings. So each human being, and in the US we now talk about personality types, type A, type B, type C, INTFJ, EF, and P. Everyone is going to come at their faith differently. Some people are going to be more spiritual in their approach, or as I believe Ishan put it, when you're searching for God, some people will find them in contemplation, others will connect through ritual, others will connect through service, right? Service, grace, service in the Christian tradition. So every religion will have each of these parts. So in fact, I'd like to make that challenge for where Ishan said ahimsa, non-violence, pacifism, salam, peace. It's an idea we all have. Every religion has it, but we have to admit especially the larger faith communities have gotten beyond that. We all have had violent traditions, people trying to force others to follow their faith. All of us, no one's free. We have a sect within, I won't name it, within Islam where now they're, South Asia, it's big in South Asia, now their followers are very peaceful, they're very nice people, and often in the front of cultural faith, philanthropy. But one day, one of them said, "Oh, we've always been peaceful." I'm like, there are words in the English language about violence that are literally taken from describing your faith. So let's be frank about it. We have all large faiths. So, but coming to the next word, the origin and purpose of religion. We can look at it two ways. I mean, we're all trying to be polite, but we're people of faith. We believe religion and faith comes because God created us. We are creatures of God, children of God, all of us in different ways. And even if you look at it from the biological point of view, there's discussion of how there's a part of our mind that is hardwired to believe in a creator or in faith. So that is one origin. The other is what, the notes we were given about where religion comes from. Then there is the anthropological and social need of a way of organizing, something to look up. There's a psychological need. We can talk about that. So that's two layers, right? And then we come to purpose. Personally, I think religion doesn't just fulfill that search purpose. Religion, how we live it, fulfills 4 or 5 things for all of us. I mean, there is the search for God, that feeling of a deeper connection. Then religion provides a lot of us with our moral, ethical framework. We work with those principles. Then religion provides ritual of traditions, culture, right? Culture and laws can do that. Then there is the last one, which, temples and communities are part of. Religion fulfills our need to be social animals. So it can provide community, and especially as immigrants, when we come to a new country, often a lot of people will join faith communities. That is their social life. That is their community. So that is another purpose. So, what does and that relates to the other question you had raised in your questions about what's the value of religion. That's the value of religion. It provides these 4 things. And I would also say for a lot of us, or for each of us, depending on our personality, different purposes are different. Some of us lose ourselves in acts of charity and grace. And when we do charity, for a lot of us, we're not, and our faith traditions will tell you, we're not doing the person we give the charity to a favor. We're doing it for ourselves, either to feel better about ourselves, to fill a need, to be better in God's eyes, so to speak. So that's the value and purpose, and each of us will fulfill it in different ways. And then the last point about how are we changing and evolving, we kind of usually talk about how faith also, we're always moving away. We have this discussion constantly, our children are moving away from faith, people are moving. But when you think about it, especially in the US, often some generations are more religious, more observant, or more strict than previous. So the change, the progress is not always in one direction. It goes back and forth. We are seeing revivals all over the world. So that, we have to keep that in mind. And like our faith is about 1500 years old. We have other faiths that are thousands of years old. Jainism is a very old one. Things have evolved. People have taken up militant things, and I'll gently challenge Ishan on that thing about building temples next to each other. No, sir, no. Temples have been built on top of each other. Mosques have been built on top of temples. Churches have gone each way. We've not always been nice to each other. Sorry, no. Not even in India, I'm sorry. Buddhism pretty much disappeared from India. I know it's a little, unpleasant thing to say. But, so my point is, those changes are happening. I come from a very progressive part of the faith, so we're constantly thinking about this, thinking about being more open. When, in conclusion, I'll remind you, whenever any faith comes to the US, it takes on an American nature. So even though it might look more like their own faith, each faith that has come to this country has actually, you would say, grown a more progressive wing and a more conservative wing. All of us, we have to face that. So I think I'll wind up there. I think I took a lot of time. Apologies.
Thank you. I think that was a very insightful.